had a good lunch, a good dinner, right? And for the participants in Zoom, welcome everyone. I see there's a lot of participants from different countries, Australia, Philippines. I saw Mary, yeah, Pauline, yes, from different countries. Right, good evening and welcome everyone. Right. So I'd like to find out how many of you require translation. So hands up so that our colleagues will pass you the translation set. Okay, yeah, over here, they need Mandarin translation. And for the Zoom participants, you can select the globe at the bottom of your Zoom and select translation to Chinese. Okay, yeah. Can you please help them? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay, there's another one there. And I would like to know the participants here, how many of you, this is your first time attending this talk? Can you all stand up? Wow, stand up. Wow, so many of them. This is your first time. Congratulations. Wow. The staff, can you all stand up, please? Stand up, please. You will get a free gift worth more than $300. Are you happy? Yeah. Wow, wonderful, right? Yeah, I see. So the company is so generous to give you all this free gift, right? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Please be seated. Everyone, the new friends here got all your free gifts? Right, so wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. I forgot to mention that I'm Catherine Chan. I'm the host for this evening. Right. Okay, so I'd like to find out, all of you here, who wants to be healthy and happy? Hands up if you want. Wow, everybody wants, right? So those who didn't, hands up. Everyone, right? Hands up. Yes, fantastic. Everyone wants to be healthy and happy. What about participants over Zoom? Can you all raise your hands also? Yes, I see everybody. Yeah, we have participants from Philippines too. Yes, everyone wants to be happy and healthy. Tonight's talk is about healthy cells, healthy self. Okay, so I know the speaker as a serious man, fun-loving, and also a multi-talented man. Why is it serious? Because every time when we have events, major events, he's someone that he solved our computer problems, our computer issues. Yes, he's a technical host, a technical person for all our major events. And whenever he's very focused in his work, he will have an action. This is his pouching lip. This is his trademark. Everybody remember that? Yeah, so this is his seriousness in work. And he's also a fun-loving person. I used to join his group for this morning walk. And he's our cameraman. He always shows us how to pose when taking photo. And he's really a brother to our family, right? Yeah, thank you so much. And so the speaker is himself a SAF, Singapore Armed Forces scholar for 23 years. He chose to retire early at the age of 42. And he started to become an entrepreneur. So he set up many businesses ranging from scuba diving to financial project consultant. And during 2014, he suffered some major setback in his business and was considering whether should he go back to corporate world. So today he's a certified licensed medical professional, lifestyle medical professional, and he gives talk not only in Avita here, also in talks in other organizations like the insurance company, Great Eastern, Singapore Petroleum Companies, and also he speaks in Japanese to Japan associates too. Right, so tonight's talk is about healthy self, healthy self. So let's put on a warm welcome to, give a clap and warm welcome to Diamond President Chong Pheng.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the very kind introduction by Catherine. I was telling you all, so the guys in front, if I faint because of my excitement giving this talk, then catch me. Okay. Very good to be back here. I haven't given this talk for like maybe 3 to 4 years about Celergen, but it's a passion. In like what Catherine said, I did a lot of businesses. But in 2014, thereabouts, a few things happened. And one of the key things that happened was my mom passed away suddenly. And I started having friends dying of cancer. And then before I started this, give talks about health, about what is wellness, I was a 2-packet-a-day smoker. I was a perpetual drinker, probably every night. I sleep at about 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I wake up and start work. My life starts at about 12 p.m. Okay, that's all changed because I think one of the key things that I've learned, thanks to my sister sitting over there, who's a doctor, she tells me, you live alone. One day you have to start to look after yourself. Don't become a drag to your only son or your family. So thank you very much. Okay. I joined Avita since it was like maybe 7 years old. And I'm proud to say that I've been here like 7 to 8 years, and we are celebrating our 15th anniversary. Please make a date. Everyone here, I hope to see all of you. Make a date on the 19th of August. We are celebrating our Crystal Jubilee in Shangri-La. Okay. But before that, I have a very serious, so this is a fun part of me, right? I tell people I'll faint, but this is a serious part of me because I'm going to show you what on the next slide. Okay.
Hey everyone, it's Dr. Zubin Damania. Most of what we do doesn't help patients. We do it because we're paid to do it. That has to change. And we have to promise to focus on preventing patients from ever needing to come to see us. Wouldn't that be something? Instead of sick care, going to actual health care. And we'll realize that we have to hold our patients accountable because right now they expect a magic pill for everything. But it's time for them to uphold their part of this social covenant. We are all in this together.
So, pat on the back, you are holding up your front of the covenant. And what he says is, tonight, the talk I'll be giving you will be about our star product, Celergen, from Switzerland. And like what Dr. Rubin has said, there's no magic pill. It's not a magic pill that will help and heal everything. Okay, no magic pills in the world. We just have to do our part. Okay, so the doctors do their part, do ours. Now, my talk today is about cell. Because I think it's not very common. I was in a dilemma to say whether I should be talking about the whole biology of cells or not. But I know I have received many questions from people who ask me, what's the ingredients of Celergen? How does it work? What's the pathway? What is this? What is that? So I shall attempt to do a biological explanation of Celergen and then see whether you understand. Or you all say, okay, I'll forget about all that. I'll just try. Okay. I think the second part is what I would have done, but let's try, okay? So if I go into something very deep, I just said there are about 180 slides. If your friend inviting you didn't tell you, it's going to be 4 hours talk, okay? So I hope you had a good dinner, okay? But some parts, if you tell me, then I'll just skip and go ahead, okay? So What are you made of? Let's see what you are made of. Okay, so that's your beautiful body, looking at the smallest thing in your body. Except for the bacteria, fungi, and viruses in your gut, which is your microbiome. The rest of it is cells, cells that carry your own DNA. Only the microbiome in your stomach is given to you by your mother. And that one, some people call it a bag of bacteria, but actually that produces, that in science is also considered an organ because it produces all the enzymes and all that for you to digest food and everything. So your whole body works in a dance of life. So it does a lot of things, right? So this is very complicated, right? ER, endoplasmic ribosomes and all that. But essentially, it's just like a fact. Okay, it needs to take in raw materials. Then it has got this little production line called organelles that will produce what it needs to produce. For example, the beta cells on your pancreas will produce insulin. Okay, the stomach will be lined by cells that will secrete the enzymes and the acid necessary to digest your food. The bone cells will come out, become hard, and actually forms your bone. Then what happens is, of course, they have to send out the things that's necessary, right? Even if I want to move a finger, a lot of cells are working to give me the energy to move my finger. So of course, it needs energy. The energy comes from this thing called the mitochondria. Then of course, there's waste that must be gotten rid of. So those are what we call toxins. Toxins. Okay. But of course, your cells need to be maintained and repaired, right? Have you ever heard of a factory that don't need to repair one? How many of you ever thought of having to maintain and repair your cells? You all think your teeth is just teeth, right? You all think stomach is stomach. The doctors will tell you that when they give you a drug, it goes through a pathway that targets certain cells that helps you with your disease. Okay? So what is aging? Aging is basically your cells getting older. Cellular aging. Cellular aging is when the cells in our body over a period of time, our cells start to split. Then you become a baby. Then the baby grow, the cells learn more and more new things, become stronger and stronger. After a while, the cells start to get weak when they break, when they split or they regenerate from 100%, then 偷工减料, cut back a bit, become 99.8%, 99.5%. So this is cellular aging. But what is a progressive decline, which means slowly, due to accumulation of bad cells. A few cells will get bad, then the bad cells will accumulate because of damages. The damage could be actual injury. It could be a lot of other factors. It could be you suffered certain radiation, or you breathe something that's bad, and you suffered heavy doses of pollution. And then you have exposure to what I call exogenous. Exogenous means things that's not controlled by you. External factor. How many of you can control the, okay, now Europe very hot, right? How many of you can control the temperature? How many of you can control the ozone, that hole and patch it up? But there are things that you can control, things that you can't. But then, of course, there are some things that is genetically, especially the genetic abnormalities. I will not talk about that tonight, but genetic abnormalities, do you all notice that it's happening very commonly these days? How many of you have friends who give birth to babies at a young age having eczema? I'm sure you have a lot. And how many of you have heard of young friends who first pregnancy has a miscarriage? All these things are a collection and is transmitted from generation to generation. So if you don't take care of yourself, okay, how many of you are of childbearing age? Those who are very not of childbearing age, I guess you can't do much, but now take care of that child, okay? But those of you who are of childbearing age, please do take care of yourself, because otherwise you're going to pass all that bad stuff to the next generation, and that's the genetic abnormalities that could happen, okay? Now, when I went to Japan to visit my friend who's living in a old folks home, then she introduced me to someone who's sitting on a wheelchair, then got a nice yellow color bag. The yellow color is the thing that's inside the bag, and a wheelchair. Then she introduced that this person used to be some big man in some big company. I said, wow. But the first thing that struck me is this: please, when I get old, I want to maintain all my functionality. I want to maintain my dignity to be able to go to the toilet myself. How many of you ever thought of that? How many have you ever thought of, like, when I'm old, I want to be able to walk to the toilet, do my business, and come out myself? Or prefer to have someone come bring a pan after clean you up? And how many of you thought of that? None, right? Until I tell you now, you have this. If the picture is in your mind, it's what happened to me. So I became I had this phobia. I said I better be able to walk to the toilet every day. So every day I train. But I didn't know that. Okay? But it's a matter of functionality. Like I said, when you start to, as a baby, your cells and all that start to grow. Your functions get more and more. Cannot walk to can walk. Cannot eat to can eat solid food. And cannot run. Ooh. See, can do that. Okay? But at a certain point of your adult life, you will start to deteriorate. And then when you drop below this line, okay, this is a part where you need help, rehabilitation. You need people to take care of you. If you cannot see, can you please sit over these two chairs? These two chairs are available. And it is a measure of this, whether you're on this line or on this line. Make your choice. And what is this? This is about aging and functionality. So if I look at this, it's about speed. Aging is about speed. And it's something that you don't want speed. If you ever drive a car called aging, please drive the most laopok car you can have. Don't drive a Ferrari. Why? Because when you have a Ferrari that ages, that goes very fast, your aging will be this. And this is what I call premature aging. You become old when you are still young. How many of you have friends, 30-something years old, already started taking cholesterol medicine, high blood pressure medicine, diabetes? Just the other day, I was here, we had a workshop, and there was a young man sitting there. He was in a wheelchair, and I thought he was born like that. And then I spoke with him, and he told me he had stroke and half his body is paralyzed. At the age of 20-something, maybe just 30 years old, had a stroke. Last time we think of stroke, it's only the Lao Kok Kok get stroke, right? But now stroke at a young age. So that's premature aging. Now, a lot of people tell me anti-aging is about beauty. I'm sure when I introduced Celergen to Ivy for her mom who had stroke, I'm not going to make her mom more beautiful. I want to make her mom live a better quality of life. So anti-aging is about slowing down your aging so that you can be above that line as you reach an older age. No problem? So that I can still walk to the toilet every day until the day I die. Correct, right? So this is about speed. So if you ever take a car called aging, take the slowest car possible. Influence includes things like this. Okay, there are things that you can control, your lifestyle, your diet. Well, I changed my lifestyle. So there are things that I know I was not having a good habit, lifestyle habit, eating habits, and then there's substance abuse. And part of substance abuse is running to the doctors and getting medicine all the time. Okay, my sister will tell me that some of her patients would have gone to her and asked for sleeping pills. Do you know that in Singapore, the doctors can dispense how many? 14? How many sleeping pills a month? A year? 14 sleeping pills a year. What do these patients do? They jump from clinic to clinic asking for the sleeping pills. And then now they are making the database so that they cannot go. But 14, so you take sleeping pills, sleep 14 nights, the rest of the nights don't sleep. 1 year sleep 14 nights. Not bad, huh? Okay, so there are things that you can control, but then there are things that, like say, you can't. Okay, like the sun, the pollution. Yeah, you can do your little part by not driving a car, don't pollute the atmosphere and all that. But generally, they are there, you have to live. And then a lot of us think that radiation is from Fukushima. Correct or not? Fukushima, the earthquake, then you are all radiating yourself. All of you, handphone, come take out handphone. See? But even if I say I don't use handphone, okay, got Wi-Fi, right? No Wi-Fi cannot. Then you say no Wi-Fi, never mind. But then you are walking on the street. How many of you live in tall buildings, flats? Have you ever looked at the roof of the building? There are some things sticking out. Those are your handphone base stations. The handphone base station is transmitting at 5G. I used to be a signal officer, so I can tell you about all this signal power to E over B ratio and all that kind of things. They're not healthy for you. Okay. So if there are things that you can't control, then what do? A lot of times people say, oh, no, it's okay. We eat healthy, we live healthy. But if I want to lift a small piece of stone, I can just lift it up, right? Because the resistance is only that, right? But if I have a big piece of stone, I need help, right? I need help by using a crane or something to lift it up, right? But your body, when you evolve, you can walk, you can sit, you can sleep, you can eat, whatever, it's okay. But when you have so many exogenous outside factor affecting you, what do? Do you think your body needs help? How do you help? There are people who will tell me, I don't believe in supplement. But using a machine is supplement. Using something to help you do or go against something that's even bigger than your capability is called supplement. So your body could need supplement. Agree? How many of you say, I don't believe in supplement? Now today, after I said that, nobody will. A lot of people tell me I don't believe. Then I tell them, belief is for something like a religion, otherwise you just take and keep yourself healthy. The rest don't need to believe. Okay? So what does all this cause? All this cause one thing. This is the part where I tell you the cellular and molecular damage that happened to you. Okay, the cellular and molecular damage is caused by this thing called free radical. Okay, what's free radical? Free radical is, radical is a bad thing, right? Like terrorists. Free radicals are these electrons that goes out to your body and then grab other electrons. Okay?
Healthy
I'll show
tissue
you.
cells.
Volume, please.
entering a tissue cell through the cell membrane. There are many elements in our body that comprise molecules. An electron from the outer bonding shell of one element forms a bond with the outer bonding second element, forming what is called a chemical bond. During oxidation, an electron can be knocked out of the chemical bond, resulting in a highly reactive free radical, where an unshared electron occurs. Oxidation factors include poor diet, pollution, drugs, radiation, stress, injury, aging, and infection. Disease risk include cancer, heart disease, arthritis, autoimmune disease, and over 90 other diseases. This free radical can capture electrons from normal healthy molecules and create free radicals that damage the healthy molecules, such as molecules found in DNA. The damaged cell can release free radicals and continue the effects of oxidative stress to surrounding cells.
About free, how many of you first time hearing this thing called free radical? How many of you heard of things like antioxidant? Basically, what free radical does, if you talk about oxidation, oxidative stress, it means your body is rusting from inside. You cannot see your liver, cannot see your kidney, cannot see your lungs and all that. But when these kind of things happen, you are rusting from inside. And therefore, your function starts to fail. Agree? But then it's not so fast. So when the free radical goes through your cell membrane, okay, it affects your little factory, right? I told you about factory, right? You go inside there, your production line gets damaged, so cannot produce whatever. The worst thing is if it goes into your nucleus, your control center, then instead of producing rubber duckies, it produces monster duckies because the DNA got changed. Because the control center, the diagram changed. So this thing could actually become cancer cells. So when the nucleus is affected, the control center is affected, that's where cancer happens. This is called mutation of the cell. So oxidative stress causes this thing called inflammation. It's responsible for 90 over kind of diseases. It affects every part of your body. Because you can't see the molecules, you can't see them. If you can, then I think you'll be the next generation of human being. Okay, but what oxidative stress causes is called inflammation. And don't get me wrong, inflammation has been called a silent killer, but not all inflammation is bad. There's a good and bad inflammation. The good inflammation is for acute things, like when your hand is cut, inflammation happens because they send the defenses there, they send the repair cells there. Then after you cut, you find that it's swollen, right? But after the swelling is over, the skin returns to normal. Sometimes when you have a fever and the person returns back to health, that's also a case of inflammation. One cycle of inflammation is okay. And this very acute one. Normally it's like, pain. Then you do something about it, the pain goes away, you're okay. But the problem with chronic inflammation is this: you are slowly, no feel. Just like one cell start as a cancer. Later I'll talk about cancer, but one cell becomes bad, no problem. Maybe even 1 million cells become bad, no problem. But when you have a few billion cells become bad, some function has to fail in your body, but you don't know. So a lot of times we say we are healthy. I always say that I work with doctors because why? Maybe the 20 to 30% on one end of unhealthy, sick people already know they are sick. Doctors will see them. Doctors will take care of them. There are 70% of us here who believe we are healthy. How many of you believe I'm healthy? Or see, I see some common. Okay. But the problem with you being healthy is, do you know you're healthy? Are you doing anything about it? Most of the time, no. Lor. You just think that I can walk, or I can eat, I can run. But I can tell you a few things. One of the things that one of our associates in Taiwan, Mao Mao, she used to be able to have a very good life. She only know how to spend money because her husband works very hard. And she just need to know how to spend money. Then one day, the husband had a brainstem stroke. The worst kind of stroke ever. The brainstem stroke. He's paralyzed. His eyes can't even focus. In that one moment, okay, woke up in the morning, same, right? Sharp, one moment, her life turned upside down. This is what happens when you have something like that, where you think you are. The Chinese have a word called ya jian kang. Okay, the rest of us just want to perceive we are healthy. So if you don't do anything about it, I've given you the external factor that could affect you. I've given you the internal factor that you could do something for yourself. But of course, if you don't do anything, then we will leave it to chance. Now, for inflammation that you can see, like, wow, joints start to pain, start to ache, you know, or whatever, we know we're having inflammation. We went and check what's wrong. It could be arthritis, it could be gout, it could be whatever. Pain that comes up, we can see. But what about those that you cannot see? This is this one here is a potential breast cancer patient using thermography. But you wouldn't know what. You wouldn't suddenly say feel one breast and say, well, this breast is very hot. Not going to happen, yeah. The inflammation is when the cells are not functioning well, that's all. Or a person with a lot of things at the back. Actually, this person in the back, you can see that there's a lot of all these white spots are actually inflammation that's happening. We don't know what's happening. We need to look at it, but we cannot every day check ourselves and, oh, I got red spot. Oh, I got white spot. Okay. So a lot of our tissues will have all these indications. It's whether we know it or not. Or if there are so many different spots there, how are you going to treat every single one of them? Okay, so like I say, chronic diseases, it's hard to say, it's difficult to classify them as a disease because chronic means over a period of time. Slowly. You hope that the bad part doesn't happen until we say bye-bye. But in most cases now, everything is premature, it's shortened. And a lot of these chronic diseases are showing themselves a lot earlier in life. Okay. So let's talk about 3 common chronic diseases: diabetes, or cancer, we talk about heart diseases. These are statistics from Singapore. Okay. So diabetes, Singapore has the 2nd highest proportion of population with diabetes. Yeah, here. Okay, cancer. 1 out of 3 people die of cancer. In fact, I don't know whether this is getting even higher or not. Okay, I'm 57. At the age of 50, so 49, 50, I have 3 friends who actually died of cancer from my age. And heart diseases, every day 16 people die from cardiovascular disease. Okay, I'll talk about these 3 diseases, not to go too deep into them, but there are a lot of people who think that these things must be medicated. But I tell you that if you do prevention, it could be prevented. Now, type 1, type 2 diabetes. May I know how many in the audience has type 1 or type 2 diabetes? Type 1? Type 2? Okay. Type 1 people sometimes surrender themselves and say, oh, I have type 1 diabetes. But if you look at it here, okay, type 1, you are predisposed, but if you inherited the genes, but they are subjected to environmental triggers. If you know you are predisposed and you take the proper precautions, maybe we can drag this a lot further. I'm not saying you can totally avoid it, but is there a chance you can drag it further? Because up to this stage, there's still a preventive possibility. And if you look at it, damage to cells that make insulin, cells again. But here, by the time it becomes a full-blown diabetes, you need intervention. A lot of us will wait till here, oh, I have diabetes, type 1 diabetes. Agree? Type 2, again, you live a normal life, blah, 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 beta cell. These beta cells are on your pancreas. The beta cells produces insulin. A few things can happen, yeah. The beta cells may not totally fail. The beta cells could actually be dormant. We have seen some cases of that. or the beta cells could actually be damaged due to whatever reason. So again, this becomes a type 2 diabetes. Now, diabetes is a worthwhile investment to really prevent that. If you think you are predisposed, or the problem with diabetes, it doesn't kill you, right? It tortures you because a lot of things will happen. A host of other diseases, including dental disease, will happen, right? So if you prevent diabetes, you are actually on the road to preventing a lot of other diseases happening to you later part in life. Okay. Now let's talk about cancer. Oxidation and cancer. I talk about cancer happens when certain cells are mutated. When you damage the DNA, the control center produce wrong things, then it turns on certain genes, okay, like oncogenes and EMYC genes and all that. So when that happens, cancer happens. Okay, I'll show you a little video.
More than 60,000 billion cells make up the human body. They are the units that form the tissues which make up our organs, like the liver, heart, and lungs. When the body needs it, our cells split into two and replace those cells that are defective or have come to the end of their lifespan. This makes it possible for our tissues to preserve their shape and their respective functions with the passage of time. Every cell is therefore programmed to multiply and die. This ordered but complex program is controlled by the center of the cell, the nucleus, which contains chromosomes containing many genes made up of DNA. Sometimes, some of these genes undergo a change. The nucleus then sends out abnormal orders and the cell goes wrong. It multiplies uncontrollably and takes on a life of its own. Each new cell produced contains the same defect. The cells proliferate chaotically and form a tumor. This process may be short, but is often long. 10 to 30 years may separate the birth of a first abnormal cell from the appearance of a tumor of about 1 cubic centimeter. The tumor forms many blood vessels in order to survive. These will supply the tumor with oxygen and nutriments, allowing it to live and grow. This is what we call the phenomenon of angiogenesis. The tumor, however, only really becomes dangerous when the cancerous cells begin to invade through the vessels into the adjacent areas and spread to the surrounding organs. These cells can then invade other parts of the body, multiply and produce new tumors. Metastasis is the term used for this spreading process.
What it means is this: lung cancer could start from where? Lung cancer could start from your toe. Because a cell there was, affected by a free radical, changed the nucleus, and then a little tumor grow on your toe, which you are not aware of. And then when it metastasizes, means the blood vessels come, and then the cells break up, then the cells start to... So a lot of times when someone gets detected with cancer, the first question is, has it spread? Right? That's the angiogenesis, right? Has it spread? So it's spread. But where it starts from could be from toe, could be from somewhere. Then it will go to some place and find a nice, cozy place, maybe called a lung. Then it goes there, and then it starts to grow. So from one cell to becoming a tumor that's 1 cubic cm is about that size. This small tumor could be about between 10 to 30 years. But if these cells are moving around in your body, and if your immune system is strong, there could be a chance your immune system could detect these cells and kill them. So your immune system is very important. One of the most important things in your body is your immune system. And don't need to say now, COVID-19, your immune system is definitely going to be an important factor in your body. So again, here, cancer progression can be age 20 to 50. I think this is what happened to my friend. One Thursday night, we were out having a good time, drinking. On Saturday, I received a phone call. He was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And then I found out that pancreatic cancer actually takes about 20 years to form. From forming to becoming a problem to stage 4, about 20 years. So then he died at the age of about 48 or 49. Yeah, I think about there. So which means if he had started doing prevention at about 30 years old, maybe just about right. And that's probably about the right age where people start to have to think about keeping themselves healthy. Okay, let's talk about things like cardiovascular issues. Cardiovascular issues happens when your blood vessels start to get clogged. So that's one thing, your blood vessels get clogged. But your blood vessel, the cells, sometimes get hardened. Sometimes high blood pressure is because your cells lost its suppleness, which means like if you take a rubber hose, and the rubber hose after a while in the sun is hardened, when you suddenly turn on the tap, the hose will burst. This is what could happen to someone with the blood vessels clogging and also hardening. So these are atherosclerosis. So you don't know where that's going to happen, big vessel, small vessel, and could give a lot of things. It develops a lot of things because if something happens to the toes, then your legs start to have issues, then the blood vessels, the blood is not going there. It could get gangrene, could have funny growth. People can go blind because the blood vessel in the eyes burst or things like that. So kidney failure is one of the other things that could happen. So high blood pressure, okay, could lead to kidney failure. But kidney failure could also lead to high blood pressure. So there's a lot of connection into the whole system in our body, okay? Complications. So in most cases, what I've talked about is free radical leading to oxidative stress, leading to chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the problem. Because when you cough 2 times in the morning, you go to the doctor say you're crazy, ask you to go home. But if you don't start treating why you're having that 2 coughs in the morning, it could lead to many, many coughs in the morning. It could lead to you waking up in the morning and the whole neighborhood knows because you cough very loudly, very long. Okay? And then most of the time, when it comes to that stage, when it manifests as a disease, you'll be asking for a cure. Okay, I use the word cure loosely here because only the medical terms, they can use the word cure. Which will be harsh drugs. When someone is already diagnosed with cancer, it is chemotherapy, which is very harsh, right? When someone gets diagnosed with diabetes, they go on a control program with the diabetic drugs, then they go to insulin, and in the worst case, they go for dialysis. Those are very harsh. Okay, how many of you are on supplements for some issues that you have? How many of you are taking supplements? Those taking Celergen, don't need to put out hand. How many of you are on supplements? Okay, what supplements are you on? Sorry? For? General. Okay, so that's good because when you're taking for general, but you see a lot of people, when I ask them what supplements they are taking, they say, I'm taking glucosamine. Yeah, I say, why are you taking glucosamine? Oh, nowadays my knee painful. Your knee painful, go and see the doctor and find out why is it painful. You don't try to self-medicate by go to the pharmacist and say, hey, what is good for this? What is good for that? That is called self-medication because you're trying to avoid the harsh medication that the doctors may tell you. And then, of course, there's a cost. Okay? So, after all this explanation that I've given and I told you about ourselves, there's actually one disease only. Agree? The disease is called cellular malfunction. Right? Every single part of your body, even when you go bald, is also cellular malfunction of your hair follicle. Don't look at me so surprised. We actually have people who actually after taking Celergen, the hair starts to grow, okay? So don't look surprised. But it's true, every part of you, the bone don't function well, the bone starts to get soft, osteoporosis. It's not because no calcium, your bone cells are not functioning well, that's all. So if there's only one disease, then you cannot, there are so many trillions of cells in you, you can't possibly treat every single cell, okay? Although they say cells are the new cure, yes, are the new cure because people are trying to do bespoke treatment. They find out what cells are not good. They try to treat the particular cell, but that is still way in the future. This book only came out in 2018. Okay, but they know, they recognize. But cellular therapy has been around for a long time. Is it new? No, actually it's been like 1960 something. People started using cell therapy, which means they use something, okay, a living cell to put in there as medicate. Well, in place of medication as a therapy to treat the person. Now, blood transfusion is cell therapy. So we say, wow, cell therapy, wow, I must make all those like, Tom Cruise, Elizabeth Taylor look so. No, skin graft, where you get burned and they cut a piece of skin from here and then they put it there, make it, that is cell therapy. They're using a live bioactive treatment on something that replaces what is there, okay? And all these 3 diseases, I told you, many of it comes to, these diseases don't happen overnight. These diseases forms a group. That's like terrorists. So if I have this class of people, maybe one of you not happy with me because my face looked too handsome. I know. Why you laugh so loud? Okay. Maybe one person not happy with me because I said something. No problem. But that person starts to spread the rumor to more people. And then suddenly this whole set of people not happy with me. I'm in trouble. Cells, same thing. How do you find which cell is not happy with you? You can't, right? So you have to make sure everybody is happy. I just make sure everybody happy. I don't insult anybody. Then we all be peaceful. So they don't happen overnight. It happens over a long time. When things happen over a long time, it means you can prevent it. Uh-oh, how come my computer is shut down? Okay. So what we're doing is when something happened over, don't worry about that. So when something happened over a long period of time, you have the time to do prevention. Agree? If it happened on the spot, like car crash, there's nothing you can do. But if something happens over a long time, but what do most of us do? I don't need it yet. I'm still healthy. Then, wow. Then after that, we say, no, we do. We always go for annual checkup. Correct or not? Singapore SATA has a logo. The best prevention is regular checkup. I say, no, the best prevention is don't get sick. Because after you go for a checkup, what do you do? What do y'all do after y'all go for your regular checkup? Huh? Y'all don't go for checkup, Oh, lagi teruk. After you go for a checkup, then you pray, doctor tell me good result. Correct or not? Because I haven't done any prevention, so you poppy, hopefully no bad results. So no, the best I will put in effort for myself is make sure I don't get sick. Okay, so mention the difference is this. Cure is when you get that illness, okay, the doctors come in, they must treat the symptom. But the doctors cannot go in to treat on the long term, on the fundamental, going right to the roots of the root cause. Why? Because that takes a very long time. That needs your own discipline to do. Doctor control is tell you to, watch your diet, go and exercise. But if you don't do that, the doctor cannot do that. The doctor can only give you insulin to control, to prevent the from. Is the mic okay? This TV is off. But care is done by yourself. It has to be your own decision. It has to be your own choice. Don't wait for the doctors to have to tell you to do something to keep yourself from getting sick. Is the sound like on and off? Can you hear? Or is it? Or okay. Okay, so preventive care can be your lifestyle, can be your nutrition, whatever, but that has to be done on your own. And medicine is used for specific type. That's why people ask about what is a pathway. Now, the doctors give you a drug that's been tested over a long period of time with many, many people to find a certain pathway to say that this drug, maybe 85 to 90% works for this group of people with this problem. It's a very directed one-to-one. Okay? So if it doesn't work for the 10 or 15%, it's okay because by right, the doctors they are not God. They cannot treat every single person. They treat as many as they can, but it will be symptomatic. So remove the immediate threats to your life. Supplements should work on a non-specific basis. Because if you've got to find one supplement for every disease, every single part of your body. I don't know, I think every day take 1 bottle like that. Okay, I don't know whether enough or not. Okay, it has to be on the long term. Don't wait until you have the problem, then want to take a supplement. How many of you tend to have this? I got a problem, then I take supplement. Yeah, yeah, I see people nodding head. Then I also know people who pass out very expensive urine. Every day don't know what they're taking, just take vitamins. Multivites, then add a bit of vitamin D. Vitamin D, if you are healthy, vitamin D, go out to the sun, sweet, nice, exercise and all that. Right? Vitamin K, take your vegetables. Right? So all this is there. It's whether your absorption, your cells are functioning well to absorb all these nutrients. So otherwise, if you take too much vitamins, you're just passing out very expensive urine. Okay. So everyone is always in a rush to get themselves better. Like everybody wants to get well in a hurry. Okay, it's not unusual for sufferers to demand recovery in 1 to 2 weeks. How many of you have done that? How many of you have? Okay, tonight I'll be talking about Celergen in a while. I promise I'll talk about Celergen. But how many of you have tried Celergen for 2 weeks? Nothing. Nothing. For 50 years, you never done anything to yourself. You take Celergen 2 weeks. You want what? You know this? Yeah, not gonna happen. You gotta give your body time. I already told you it's your cells. Okay, you may actually want to have 1 or 2 years, and that's why I say chronic sufferer cannot expect to evolve full health in less than 2 years. Okay, I've been on Celergen for 7 years. But it did me wonders in the first 2 years and all that. And then now I'm on a stable mode, just nothing bad is happening to me. Then it's also at this stage where I eat already, at first feel very good, then after that, nothing happened. What else you want to happen? Become better. Then what? You become adult, become baby, then become what? Sperm. Cannot happen, right? But you brush your teeth so many years, your teeth also don't become diamond, what? Otherwise, you can take out cell. Right? So what do you expect? So it takes 2 years. After 2 years, go on the mode, slow down the aging. It's not going to be a pill that makes you live forever. But remember, it's not about stopping that slope coming down. It is about maintaining that slope, keeping it before you become disabled. All right? Understood? Simple, So what we have here is Celergen. So I told you, I promised I'll talk about Celergen. Because Celergen, when we introduce Celergen to people, many people ask me this very intelligent question. Like, what is the ingredient of Celergen? Like, okay, so tonight I'm going to attempt to tell you the ingredients of Celergen. Then I'll give you all the scientific things. Then you tell me what it does. Okay. It's the world's first Swiss cell therapy, orally taken cellular therapy that uses marine derivatives. Now, marine derivatives, I'm the very curious kind of guy. I was born an engineer. I'm a triple E, electrical electronics engineer. And when I found about this, of course, I look at Celergen and I went to look marine derivatives. Why use marine derivatives? Then I found that actually marine derivatives are very new. For example, they're talking about maybe they're trying to find a cure for cancer using the horseshoe crab. The crab has got purple color blood, one, your favorite, purple color blood. Okay, they have found some other organisms with blue blood and all that, and they found that these are from Haiyang Senwu, the marine things, and they found that these are actually going to be the next functional food. So it's got all the accolades because this is produced in Switzerland, and it can be sold freely in Switzerland. So therefore, to get that qualification, it has to have all the Europeans certification and all that before we even accept it into Singapore. We are not, Avita is not a reseller of Celergen. Avita owns Celergen. So we Singaporeans are very proud that it's owned by a Singapore company. Okay, so we own Celergen. Any other country that wants to sell Celergen has to come here and discuss with our CEO to get the distributor rights. Okay, so a lot of people then ask me, Singapore got HSA certification or not? How many do you think? How many want to ask that question already? Nobody. Okay, let me explain to you why we don't have HSA. Because HSA don't want us to get certified. Okay, because a doctor must prescribe a drug to patient. And he or she will know that it's 85, 90% will work for that illness. Now, Celergen goes into your body and give your cells a treat. But we don't know your body decide which cells need it first. So if somebody comes to the doctor and says, Doc, my knee very painful, then doctor say, take Celergen. But actually, when the Celergen goes inside the body, actually the knee is not so important. The liver, half gone already. Then Celergen will be routed to go and treat the liver first. Then patient comes, doctor, you give me this thing, it doesn't help my knee. Then doctor say, hey, but you look more beautiful nowadays. Then, no, I want my knee to be okay. So that's why it cannot be prescribed as a drug that way. And HSA then ask you, so what is this? Okay, so this is a functional food. When it comes to food, HSA don't bother, right? Unless your food becomes poisonous and kills somebody, then the authorities will come after you. Now, if it's a functional food, what it does is just like any other food. When you eat your piece of meat, do you know where it goes to? No, right? When you eat your vegetables, yeah, you know, like at the end of it goes there and out. But otherwise, you don't know where it goes to. You don't know where it goes and protect what. So this is what Celergen is. It's just a better kind of food that is not for you to eat, but for your cells to eat. That's all. Okay? So it does three things. It rejuvenates. What is the meaning of rejuvenate? It means some of the cells have grown a bit old and lazy. They become dormant, they go to sleep. In fact, in our body, there are a lot of dormant cells. So Celergen goes there, wake them up. Hello, wake up, not time to sleep yet. So those who are just starting to lose hair, like guys, especially, you can take this. If the hair follicles hasn't totally died, they can wake up and start to grow hair again. So a lot of us start to say, hey, got hair growing. Okay, so before they totally die, they rejuvenate. And that's why some people after taking Celergen feel a new boost of energy because a lot of the cells start to wake up and work. The second thing is it repairs. The repair is now going to be more important than ever because right now, while we have only evolved a little bit, our skin cannot defend us against radiation. There's no lead in our skin, but there's a lot of radiation that's happening in the world. So there's a lot of damage that's going to be happening, and therefore repair is going to be very important. And then the next thing is it regenerates. So regeneration means it will get rid of some of the cells that will die, needs to die, will die, and then new cells are regenerated, and these new cells are hopefully healthier. So with the healthy cells, you have healthy tissues, you get healthy organs, then you become healthy, basically. Okay? Sorry? This one treat white hair or not, it depends on whether white hair is the most important health issue you have in your body. Okay? It has helped people with white hair. It hasn't helped mine. Okay, I know why you're asking me, but my hair hasn't always been black. Always been brown, red. Okay, so these are the ingredients. Yay! Now we come to the ingredients. Okay, the most innovative ingredient here is the bio-DNA cellular marine complex. Okay, I'll come to that story in a while, but other things like peptide E collagen, okay, peptide, all these things are just very fine, small chains of amino acid. When you eat protein, okay, in 2019, I think, Singapore government put out, MOH put out to say that Singaporeans, the elderly Singaporeans are not getting enough proteins. Quite natural because as you age, right, you find that the teeth not very strong, you don't want to chew your meat too much, your digestive tract gets a bit thinner, it doesn't produce enough enzymes for you to digest meat. So you eat the meat, you feel very full, right? So we can go to French store again, but order smaller pieces of meat. But there's and so we are not absorbing enough proteins, okay, especially the digestion of protein. So what Celergen does is it gives you these peptides and all that, which are small things that is digested. If you take a piece of meat after it's digested, this is the thing that your body will absorb, which are peptides. And then they become amino acids, and then it works for your body. So that's why Celergen is taken by your cells, not by you. You don't get to enjoy the flavor of Celergen. You can enjoy your piece of steak, but you will not enjoy the flavor of Celergen. And then the rest are just, synergistically blended to help your body to give it a more complete, concoction. Okay. like coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10 basically is the fuel to give you energy so that your body absorbs all these things that's energy for you to then let the cells do what it needs to do. Okay, I'll go there one by one. All these studies done by a French BioHC third-party laboratory. So it's not us doing it. Okay, so all this has got all these certificates and so bio-DNA cellular marine complex. What does it do? So I don't want to have a lot of words here, but this is okay. It protects the cells from extracellular oxidative aggression, which is your radicals. It helps healing and immunostimulating properties that could stimulate immunity and accelerate citratization. Okay, when the Chinese did this test on Celergen, they found that actually it helps produce NK cells, the natural killer cells. The natural killer cells are the cells that protects your body from external factors. Okay, so antioxidant, anti-aging, immunity boosting. Okay, very good for osteoarthritis, all the bone issues. Okay, and good for physical performance. Okay, when it raises the VO2 max, basically it tells you your recovery is faster, your volume oxygen. So a lot of sportsmen, when they take this, they recover faster. I know there was a guy in Dubai, he's a lawyer, he's a marathon runner. He used to have to take 3 days after a marathon to recover before he goes back to work. But after he started Celergen, he told us that, you know, one day take the marathon, the next day he goes back to work. So recovery is faster. Okay. So physical performance can be a lot of things. You know, physical performance can be good. Actually, it's a mood elevator. So it actually makes you in a better mood. Now, so this is a real case. This one actually I can invite. Can I invite Dr. Chong to share? This is her eye health. Yeah. Can somebody pass her a mic, please? You want to come to the front, please?
Master.
Yeah. Because the camera is there. So say hi. Say hi to the rest of the world. See, they're all there watching you. You can stand here then. Yeah.
Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah. So this this lady is actually my patient. She's quite elderly, 70 something, has a lot of medical illness, but her main concern was a toe. It was overlapping, and she couldn't. She has arthritis of the knee, but because of the toe, she couldn't fit into any shoe. So even though I kept scolding her not exercising, say how I exercise. So I couldn't help her to separate the toe. I told her, go operation, fix it, then you can start exercising. But she, of course, didn't want to do a surgery. Otherwise, she have done operation on the knees. So what I said is, I have no other things to help you except painkillers. And you can't take painkillers for long, but you can try this new product. And this product is not a medicine. I can't prescribe it from my clinic. So I said, you speak to my brother and see whether he can help you to procure some. She took it for a few months. And suddenly one day she came back and said, hey, doctor, your medicine very good. My toe now can separate it. I didn't believe her. So I said, can I take a photo? And that's how I got that photo. Yeah. So she's still doing her regular exercise, very much better now. And because of her experience, she forced her husband to take also. Her husband has knee arthritis, which the doctor wanted to do surgery as well. And now they're both happily exercising in the playground downstairs.
Thank you. Okay, so this mic is going to be passed to people that if you are here, if you happen to be here, thank you. Okay, this is my good friend. This is a Japanese lady that I helped when I was studying in Japan. She looked after me. She's in her old age, 80-something years old. She lives in an old folks home, and that's my son. He's the one who, when he went to Europe, he went to Europe in January up to now. He's still in Europe. Before he left, he asked me, Dad, can I have 7 boxes of Celergen? So I gave it to him, and then he brought it to Europe. I think he should be out of Celergen by now. So this lady, she had compression fracture, okay, at 87 years old, and her doctor told her 50 days to recover, but in like about 2 weeks, I think she's telling me about 2 weeks or so, she already recovered already. So she's very happy with. So So when you're old and you give your body a boost, it actually helps you recover. Okay. And it was when I was visiting her in 2019 that I saw this old man on a wheelchair with the urine bag, basically. Okay. This is you will speak in Chinese, but could I invite Maria Moon to share this all the way from Hong Kong? Could we the screen to Maria Moon, please? She'll appear here. I'll let my technical people. 婷婷姐，你可以讲一下你的骨质疏松症的症吗？跟我们大家讲一下。
谢谢我们 DP 中评的邀请，突然被邀请了，我还是蛮讶异的。谢谢。那在这里呢，先向大家问候一下，大家好。今天非常高兴，我们的同时能够在线上和线下一起来听我们 DP 中评为大家分享细胞疗法对我们的好处。Celergen 对我们的好处。那我自己本身呢，其实我是在多年前，我曾经就是骨头非常容易的就是裂，我的肋骨曾经在2年之中裂过2次。那么第一次裂的时候呢，那个时候还没有开始服食 Celergen。我大概那个骨折裂的时候，我去看骨科医生，他就跟我讲，他说那个只是裂，那不是断。所以呢，没有办法治疗，就让它自己愈合。所以呢，那个很痛很痛，那没有药吃啊，那我就去找物理治疗，那就忍着这个痛，大概经过1年零2个月的时间，我才完全恢复。那后来1年之后，我又开始裂了一次，那个右边的肋骨又裂了一次。那么裂了以后呢，这次我再去看骨科医生的时候，他又是跟我讲说没有药吃，要自然的复合。可是这个时候我已经开始服食 Celergen 了。这个你知道这一次吗？2个月我就完全复合，完全愈合了。所以从这个过程当中，那时候我还不太清楚。但是在骨裂的当中呢，骨科医生就介绍我，他说骨头不应该这么脆弱。如果你这么容易骨折的话，骨裂的话，我建议你要去做一个骨质密度的检测。所以呢，刚才大家看到我呢，就是在这个2017年的时候，我的那个可以把我那一个那个保健的日期给我秀出来，好不好？因为我希望那个日期的这个准确度不会有一点点落差啊。反正我就是第一次去检测的时候，我的那一个骨质密度是在黄区跟红区的边缘，绿色的它是一个健康的这个骨质密度，红色的就是骨质疏松。那我刚好踩在黄色跟红色的那条线上面，所以我为什么那么容易骨折，或者容易那么走路的时候那么拗柴呀，就是容易就拐到那个脚。那么这是我第一次去检测的。那时候结果我吃了这个 Celergen 之后1年左右吧，大概不到年了，10个月多月左右哈，我再去同一家去检测。因为我这一次第2次的检测，我就是刻意要去看看我吃 Celergen 对我的骨质疏松到底有多少改变。结果呢，连医生看到我2个报告对比，他吓一跳，他说你怎么那么能干？骨质疏松是没有药可以治的。他说如果你的骨质密度没有恶化，已经是很了不起的，你怎么还进步了？你怎么还回到了黄区的中间？所以在这里呢，这给我一个非常大的一个鼓舞，也相信这里可以给大家做一个很好的有效的这个数据参考。所以 Celergen 它不是药，但是它可以做到很多药却不能够做到的事情。所以在这里呢，我鼓励大家好好的能够趁着这一次你有缘分来到我们这里，了解这个 Celergen 的功效，希望你千万要把握住这个机会，让我们的 Celergen， 我们的其他的所有的产品来帮助大家的健康，我们来慢慢老，慢老，健康老，好不好？谢谢大家，谢谢。
谢谢。Wonderful, right? Now can share from overseas. Anyway, what she said was she had two fractures. Okay, the first time she had a fracture, it took a long time to recover. Second time she had a fracture, by then she had started Celergen, and it took like only 2 months fully healed. Okay, and then what she did was the doctors said that your bone shouldn't be fracturing so easily, so recommended her to do a bone density, and her first bone density test was actually at the almost, I think this is almost osteoporosis. And after 7 months, right? I think this is like 10 months on Celergen, she actually moved to the yellow zone, and the doctors were surprised because normally osteoporosis, they tell you to take calcium and all that to harden your bones, but really 70% of your bone is actually collagen. Okay, if you take too much calcium, you risk the things like kidney stones and gallstones and calcification of your organs and all that. Okay. Okay, so next is peptide E collagen. Peptide E collagen is the one that I think most of the vein men here will be very interested in. Ladies not interested, I think, because okay, it actually helps skin complexion improvement. That's why the vein man here will be very interested. The ladies not interested, right? Yeah, okay. But I can skip. Okay. And you see, a lot of times people take collagen, but look in your collagen and see whether there's this thing called elastin. Elastin and collagen must work together. As we age, the collagen actually, becomes brittle, it breaks. But you want a collagen to come in, and then you need elastin. So it's like bricks and cement must work together. You just keep taking collagen and all that, sometimes it doesn't work one way. So peptide E collagen is formulated with the right kind of proportion that is same as our skin. Okay. So you see, it gives the dermis the suppleness, which is the skin, the toing effect on your skin. Okay, but because it deals with all the cells, I believe this is also one of the key factors in Celergen helping people with blood pressure, because it probably also provides suppleness to the blood vessel, the cells. And this is what is done. Okay, it has a delay the skin aging process. If you have premature aging, the good news is there can be a bit of reversal. Okay. Now this is Nancy. She is not here. She apologizes for not being here. She is looking after her grandchild, and she was skeptical. She liked to take a lot of supplements, but she was very skeptical because we told her, Celergen, don't need to take so many, right? Every day take 1 or 2, and every day she would send me a photo. In this, she purposely took the photo one. She sent, and she sent. Then by the 12th day, I saw quite a bit of difference. I put them together, and you can see the difference here. If she was here, she'll take half an hour to share. Okay. Okay. Because she's so impressed with Celergen. And then this is her 62 years old on her retirement party. No, award party, 40 years working in the company. SKF. This one, just now you all saw her, but she was wearing her mask. This is my, that's not somebody, that's not, yeah, my younger sister. Okay, this is that doctor sitting over there. And this was the point where she hung this photo. No, it was another photo, not this one. But she hung a photo of her having a holiday in Spain with her 2 sons. And she thought that one, because on holiday must look very beautiful already, right? Then after she took Celergen for a while, her patients came in. So why you look different? You do anti-aging. I think because her clinic was in Clementi, and her patients from young have seen her to quite old. Then they say, Doc, then we also do anti-aging. Then she, what? Then that was when she realized actually she looks different. But she was very conscious about her sleep. She tracked her sleep so she gets deep sleep. And that's important for the mood, and that's important for the energy. So this is her. She is no longer known as a grumpy doctor. Was. Sorry. Better say sorry. Okay, now we have a few stars here. May I invite this lady here, Rose? Can see the difference? These are my latest one. She's sitting right there. Yeah, can you stand up and wave to everyone? Come, Rose. Don't need to say anything. Don't need to say anything. Don't need to say anything. Yeah. 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 So this is Rose. She joined us when she was 70 years old, and this is her improvement. Okay, no, she's not talking. Yeah. Thank you very much, Rose. These three came from the same person. Kelly, you want to share about these three friends of yours, or just I do? No? Okay, anyway, this is Xia Ying, and this is Iris. Okay. And one of the things that we saw is this like bloatedness and all that. So it's not a beauty product. Although the beauty part is a side effect. If you don't like it, then don't get more beautiful. It's okay. Okay. Why? Okay. Well, take my photo. Okay, then next is the hydro-MM peptide. Actually, it's two different peptides. Okay, M and N. Now, M peptide has this thing. It's very good for things like cartilage, your joint, and your skin. Okay, that's the M peptide. Okay, treatment of photoaging, which means sometimes after you take Celergen, that's how we took the photos. A lot of you will say, oh, one side look in the brighter light and all that. No, actually, Celergen does help your skin get lighter because it actually reverses a bit of the photoaging, prevents photoaging. Photoaging is actually quite an important thing, especially a lot of people who are doing whitening, right? SK2 whitening cream and all that. And photoaging actually is the one that leads to pigmentation when we age. Okay? And the M peptide also has this thing, chondroitin, glucosamine, and all that in it, which is why it helps with bones and joints. This is me. This one don't play so long, can okay? Don't play. By the way, this is how I started with Celergen actually, thanks to that man sitting behind there, Alvin. Because I was suffered, I had my 6th operation on my knee, 3 on each knee, champion. And then the 6th operation, I didn't know I was already 49 years old. I thought veteran already, right? So 3 months train and all that. Okay. The pain lasted 1.5 months. I asked my sister, can give me painkillers. She said, you're crazy. You go on long-term painkiller, one day you'll get Alzheimer's or dementia. Right? So then I met Alvin. Then Alvin said, wow, like that, how you go skiing? Because our favorite pastime when we went to UK was we went skiing in Bulgaria. And wow, how? I was 90 over kg, knee painful. So I said, if there's nothing helping, why don't you just try? So I tried. 3 weeks later, my pain went away. May not work for everyone, yeah. Some people have knee pain, but tell me take 3 months still, pain hasn't gone away, but then they look more beautiful. Okay, I'm sure you like to trade your beautiful for no knee pain, but too bad I didn't look more beautiful, but my knee pain went away. I didn't believe. Okay, and I decided 1 year later to take part in the Spartan race. The Spartan race is a 7 over kilometers cross country with 20 over obstacles, like, you know, climb this, climb that, carry big stone and all that. The motto of the Spartan race is pain is weakness leaving your body. Okay, so pain is nothing. So I'm glad after that, now I'm very active. I can also run. And yeah, I'm back into judo. For those who don't know, one of the instructions that wasn't said was I'm a scuba diving instructor as well as a 3rd dan black belter in judo. Okay. This is my auntie, and when they helped me my joint, my auntie was due to go for double knee replacement operation. So we were thinking, because of what happened to my mom at 71 years old, I told my sister and myself, my sister introduced her to the surgeon. We spoke with my cousin and we said, look, at the age of 82, after going for the double knee replacement, generally the pain will prevent them from ever walking. So first you suffer the pain of the operation, then you still don't walk. So what's the point? So we said, why don't we put her on Celergen first before she's go for the operation? So at least we help her boost up the energy, and hopefully when she continues after operation, it helps recovery. But lo and behold, 1.5 months later, she went to the surgeon. The surgeon said, "Auntie, how come you didn't take walking stick?" "Oh, no pain." Then the doctor, of course, will do all the checks. Then doctor said, "Oh, in that case, I think we hold back the knee replacement operation." So 2017 until now, the operation is still being held back. Of course, she's not getting younger. The pain is not going to go away. As she ages, okay, the pain will slowly creep back in, the weakness and all that creep back in. But 2017 until now, we bought her 5 years. She was walking around. She could go and take part. Like this one, she went to take part in mahjong competition. Okay, she started going back to karaoke with her friends and all that. Good, right? And at the meantime, we also saw that, hey, how come her face now look more glowing and having more life? Right, looks more beautiful, right? Okay, so this is my auntie. A lot of the stories that you will hear from us is our own people. And this is a lady with this thing called suffering from cervical spondylosis. The backbone is okay, so she cannot raise. Her husband is a doctor, so doctor said take painkiller. Okay, but she refused. She said okay lah. She's skeptical, tried Celergen, and it worked for her. So if something works for them, okay lah, I think she'll continue. So she shared this with us. Okay, the N peptide. The N peptide is an interesting one because the N peptide in the experiment they find that it actually can reduce the glycemic index. Anyone know what's the glycemic index? Nowadays, there's a lot of things like low GI rice. What is low GI? Low glycemic index rice. The carbohydrates level is not so high, so it's less fattening, right? So that's called low GI, and clinically it's proven to reduce, the absorption of glycemic index, carbohydrates by about 37%, reduce the glycemic index by about 37%. So what this does is actually it prevents your blood sugar from spiking after a meal. That's very important, the shock effect. So help a lot of people with diabetes. Okay, I'll invite the person to share, but this is a very long thing. So I want to show you this long one. Don't need to read. I'll summarize it for you. But essentially, these are the messages that I received. Okay, it's reduce her. I'll get her to share later. She's sitting just behind there. That's Sally. Okay, Sally, wait a while. I'll invite you. And then just now, that old lady that you all saw. Okay, she's also diabetic, and didn't just help her with her bones. Celergen help her with her diabetes. What I'm trying to say here with her example is that not just for one thing. Celergen does many things for you. So Sally, I summarize for you is this. Could you come forward here and share with us, please? And you can do your catwalk. I know catwalk is has improved a lot. Wow. Okay, here. The stage is yours. Okay, this is Sally, this lady there. Yep. You want to share?
Yeah. Good evening. I'm Sally. Basically, I took Celergen is due to my knee pain, where I almost about going for operation already. So my friend recommended me, saying that you want to try this one or not. Don't know whether it helps you or not. So I was thinking, okay, 死马当活马医. So I just try lah. Anyway, I see specialists also spend about $300. So I say, okay, I try. And I actually took 3 days. This thing got a called healing crisis. All my pain that have on me before, which have healed, all came back. Frozen shoulder, tennis elbow, backache, ankle pain, all came back. One shot, all come together, 3 days. So I got scared. I stopped taking. And then After 2 days, because I take my painkiller, it stopped. When I come back, then they'll ask me, hey, how are you eat this? I say, oh, crazy, the pain all so badly. Then they say, 我每个跟我讲，恭喜你，恭喜你, it takes the effect so fast. And cut the story short, actually 14 days, about 2 weeks. My knee pain gone, and I used to have swollen leg in the night. The night, swollen leg also gone. My leg become very small, sui liao. Last time, my shoe, I need to buy one size bigger, because in the night, if I go out and take off my shoe, I cannot put it in, swollen. But then I say, how come my shoe now like so loose? No, I walk, keep dropping. Yeah, the leg, and one night I put up my leg and see, hey, how come my leg become so small, so nice? So it all helped me a lot lah. And like what he said, I got 3 high, high blood, high cholesterol, high diabetic. So after about 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, every 3 months, polyclinic, I need to go for checkup. And the medicine, the doctor check my blood, keep cutting my medicine. And I cut until very low dose now. After a year lah, and with this, 1 year I lost 14 kg. Yeah. So you look at my last time, fat one, I so small. Now it's me already.
No, you're walking how?
Yeah. I share about my walking. You know this kind of step. Last time my knee pain until I cannot walk on. No, I must have something to hold. And if I squat down, I can't stand up. I must move. Use backside. I'll go and push until one corner and push something to stand up. It's that bad. Overhead bridge. I climb. I must hold the rail. Stop 3 times and pan until like shit. Go until up there, backache. So I never take overhead. I always take taxi because to prevent walking steps. But after that one, my pain gone, right? I think the 14 days, suddenly I walk up the overhead bridge. My workplace got overhead bridge. I walk until go halfway the bridge. And I say, hey, how come today I never stop? And also never pan like hell. I said, wow, this thing, must quickly go and tell them. This Celergen really very good. Okay, thanks.
Okay, wait. So anybody wants to venture a guess? Can review your age. This young lady's age. Take mask off.
Take my spectacle out. See how am I?
Okay, come. Guess, quick guess.
Thank you.
You want to tell them how old you are?
I'm 61.
Thank you, Sally. Always a pleasure having her here. Yep, when she came here and she saw Dr. Chong, oh, Dr. Chong, why you are here? Okay, so we have this, just thanks to this, a friend of ours from this group here, Linsin, I was very confidently encouraging her to take Celergen because her kidney is down to like 30% operating. So she cannot take protein. But when you don't take proteins, you don't grow. You don't have the materials to repair your body. So I recommended her. So she told me, wow, after I took Celergen, well, we're hoping for more good news because she had an operation accident when she was very, very young. And for 30 years, the doctors gave her amino acid. And she told me that for 30 years, she took the amino acid, she put on 3 kg. Okay. She's the only lady I know who hopes to put on weight. Then by the time she cleared everything and she was confident to take Celergen, in 1 month, she put on 1 kg. So, yeah, so we're hoping for the best for her. Hopefully she gains a bit more weight, can carry her grandchildren. Okay, so about 3 highs, this Ernest, a friend of ours. Okay, and he used to be a director of sales in an American company working in the US. And after he came here, Celergen, he told us, wow, it's free me of 30 years of being on drugs to control my free highs. Now, we do not encourage people who take Celergen to straight away give up their medication. No, we work with the doctors. You take the medication together with Celergen, because then Celergen helps you to regulate, helps your recovery a little, and little by little it recovers. So the dosage of the medicine can be reduced and reduced. Just happened to Sally. Okay. So is this a solution? Yes, it is a solution. You can always inject insulin. Is Celergen a solution?
Hi, my name is Nani Almeida. I am 50 years old. And what can I say about Celergen? Taking Celergen, I think, is the most significant breakthrough in my life, because to give you some history, I have been taking insulin for the last 7 years, and 70 units at that every day. And happy to say that for the last 3 weeks, or 3 weeks ago, I started not to take any insulin at all. That is why I've been believing in this product, and for the last 6-7 months that I've been taking it, I've been recommending it to my friends, golfer friends, especially old friends, and maybe out of my 30 golf mates, 20 are using already, and still there's the 10 golfer friends that I have to convince still. But I'm not giving up. I'm sure before the year ends, all of them will be taking Celergen. So what can I say about Celergen? Thank you. Thank you for liberating me from my diabetes or from my insulin. And I'm on my way for living normal life. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not saying that everyone can end up like this, but he's probably one of the lucky ones. The last time we met him was probably about 3 to 4 years ago, and he told us that he's totally off diabetes medicine. Okay, so he's not on any diabetes medicine, and now he's living a normal life. Have you any update, Gina, on him? No? Yep. Okay. So he's one of our Philippines. And of course, after you get something good among friends about the same age, all of us will have the same problem. So please, if you found something good, the Filipinos taught me one thing. If somebody introduced something good to you, okay, that help you, it is your moral obligation to go forward and share with other people so that you can help other people. Okay. So is this a better solution? Think about it, yeah? Or you can continue injecting insulin, it's okay. So what about cancer cells? I'm sure there's a lot of questions, right? If it helps with regeneration of cells, what about cancer cells? This is a question that we also took very seriously. And most of the doctors we check with have no qualms about Celergen because it's not hormonal, okay? Not like if it's a placenta-based or stem cell-based things, could be hormonal. So Celergen is given the green light by most oncologists, or who knows lah. Doctors who don't know will just say, but they'll say, if you're okay, take. And about cancer, in 2014, they said new hope for advanced liver cancer patients. But guess how much the treatment is? Okay, oral drug, $10,000 a month for the rest of life. Or the other one, yeah, new injectable drug compared to radiation, 10,000 per treatment. Okay. So we were concerned that Celergen could also promote growth of cancer cells. So the company, being a responsible one, sent it for tests. Tests on 2 cancers, the most troublesome cancer, which is liver cancer. Most of the time, liver problem detected stage 4. Second one is pancreatic cancer, the one that killed my friend, detected stage 4. If Steve Jobs, who is such a rich man, can't get himself cured from pancreatic cancer, pancreatic cancer remains a big problem. Okay, so they send it for the test. I'm going to have there's a lot of science here, but I'm not going to go through all of it. Yeah, what this thing shows, the graph shows, is that it inhibits the proliferation of HEP2, which is liver cancer. The proliferation of these cells, it actually blocks the proliferation by up to 73%, which means the spreading. Okay, it inhibits a P53 tumor, okay, because it produces this P21. So all these things, how many of you understand already? Okay, but what it does here, simply put, is that it prevents the cells from proliferating, which means prevents the cells from duplicating and growing. Okay, to prevent the tumor from growing. Next is it promotes apoptosis. Apoptosis is the natural cell death. Naturally, our cells, if it is mutated by right, if the right genes are not switched off, the cells will say, I'm mutated, I'm different from the rest. Then they will commit suicide, they will die. It's called apoptosis. But cancer cells are thinking that they are super cells. They are super cells, they will be there and they will continue to live. And that's why cancer cells are so hard. But Celergen goes in, and what I suspect about Celergen, it goes in there, it's a malfunctioning cell, it repairs it, it turns back on the apoptosis gene, so that the cell suddenly realize, hey, actually I'm naked, I'm different, so he will die. So it promotes cell death by up to 30%. Well, we hope, of course, if it promotes 100%, then we can use it as a cure for cancer, but it doesn't 30%. So when other treatment comes in, it helps. At least it's promoting the death and not the growth of cancer cells. Okay. Now, this one is, okay, the GET 153. Okay, this is basically, it helps. This is what causes the cells to die, the cancer liver cells. Okay. And it promotes the death 72 hours, you know, it goes up to 14 compared to like 1. This is the important one. Okay, 40% reduction in the CMYC oncogene. This CMYC oncogene is a very common gene that causes cancer. And what are the cancers that it causes? Liver, lung, colorectal, stomach, okay, Burkitt lymphoma, neuroblastoma, which is the brain, the nerve one, and then breast, cervix, uterus. And these are the cancers that fall, okay, especially if you look at lung, colorectal, breast cancer, these are the top 10 cancers. So if it prevents the expression of this gene, what it means is gene in your cell, all our cells have all these genes that could turn into cancer. But if it suppresses and does not allow this gene to be turned on, this CMYC oncogene, then the chances of this cancer developing will be lessened. Okay, so, well, perhaps it will help prevent cancer. And the other one that they did was for the interleukin 6, which is something that's always shown in pancreatic cancer. Okay, by now, how many lost already? All good. I lost, I think, maybe. Okay, but what it shows here is this, the low invasiveness. Okay, these cells will be quite invasive, the pancreatic cancer cell. But the low invasive one is largely unchanged, but they did show some lowering of the high invasive. So the high invasive cells get suppressed and they don't become so invasive, then at least, you know, it's not going to be spreading so fast. Maybe the tumor won't become, you know, won't grow so fast as well. So maybe you get a fighting chance. Okay, 15%, not a lot, but you know, what it shows, not that it can cure cancer or remove all this tumor. What it does is that it does not promote the growth of cancer cells. That's what we want to show. So it's safe for everybody to take. So people with cancer can take or not. Okay, I have no qualms when I hear friends having cancer. I'll tell them take this, take Celergen. Okay. And one thing about, okay, just now I told you about the marine bio-DNA complex, right? The marine bio-DNA complex is extracted from the sperm of the salmon and the herring. Is this new? Why suddenly people start to go and play with the sperm of the salmon and the herring? Okay, not like, pickleballs or something like that. Okay, but this study actually is from 1965. Okay, the report came out in 1965, received in 64, but report came out in 65. Okay, what they did was they take the white mice, they irradiate, that means they give the radiation of gamma ray on the white mice, which is fatal, which means in normal circumstances, the white mice would have been killed. Then one group, they give sodium chloride, which is salt water. The other group, they give them a mixture of the DNA of the. They actually did a few experiments with 2 different ones. And then this one, particular one, is they put the salmon and the herring DNA. And they found that, after 20 days, the one at the bottom, 40% still survive. So there is, well, this is like a bit of the evidence to show that this salmon and herring DNA actually helps repair the cells from radiation. Okay, so that's why when I knew about this, when Fukushima happened, I have a lot of friends in Japan. The first thing I went to recommend is you should take this, And this is an important thing because it means in 1964 somebody found this, and I think they must have experimented and found more and more users, and then they found, and by the time Celergen was developed and actually put on the shelf for sale was 2009. So a long time has, been catered for the research of this particular thing. So people with cancer, one of the earliest one we've seen was this lady, Amy. The person who introduced this to Amy was none other than the person responsible behind there. Alvin, may I invite you to share with us how you introduced this to Amy?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm glad to share about this story. Amy was a new friend. I didn't know her, but I invited a mutual friend of ours. And the first thing that when my friend Charlie got to know about Celergen and how it might help with cancer people, he thought of Amy. Immediately, he called Amy on the phone and then he gave the phone to me. Nah, speak to Amy. And I was put on the spot. But subsequently, I get to meet Amy in person and I explained to her and her husband and a son. And I say that hopefully it can help. I mean, you're going to start your chemotherapy. And, in chemotherapy, it's about really whacking all the cell, good cell, bad cell, whatever cell, all gonna kill, right? That hopefully with Celergen, it can help in the regenerative part of it. And that was what Amy did. Thankfully, 15 months later, she walked in here with a son on the last day of her chemotherapy, when she got signed off by the oncologist that she is at that point cancer-free. Okay, so we had a celebration here. We are all really, enjoy it. And since then, that was the year 2015, November, 25th of November, 2015. And she has continued on taking Celergen till today. And every year she comes back here for checkup. She lives in Kuching, and then she comes back here to check out. And so far, thank God, she remains cancer-free and she is as youthful. In fact, now if we meet her, right, I tell you, she looked pretty much about the same. So her age has more or less frozen also. So that is a good side effect, But for her to build her body, her health back up from being a cancer patient is really a miracle, a wonderful story. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So just now, I had a question from Hui Fang. She asked, we already taking Celergen, what? So why attend this talk? Well, I hope after you attend this talk, you understand a bit of what Celergen can do. For those already taking it, please go ahead and, if you have friends that have some issues, then you have information, you don't know the exact biology, science and all that, well, you can actually tell them, maybe it could help. Then just like Alvin, make the call and somebody will be able to help you. Okay, those who haven't started after this, I hope, don't wait anymore, because every day you wait, you're getting 1 day older. And this one, I have to invite overseas Cheryl. So I think is Attorney Jonah online. I think she is. She's a judge in Philippines. Okay, her husband suffered cancer and she is herself predisposed to cancer. So could I get Attorney Jonah to share? Prepare the Hold on, you are muted. Okay, all yours. You're still muted.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, DP Chong Pheng, for inviting me here. Yes, as mentioned by DP Chong Pheng, I am a labor judge by profession, a lawyer, and I'm a widow with 3 wonderful kids. The most dreaded disease actually runs in my genes. I have a privilege. I did not have the privilege to meet my maternal grandfather because he died of brain cancer. And then my mom in 2006, she also died of pancreatic cancer. My husband, who had no history of cancer, also suffered from ileal cancer stage 3 in 2014. And that was the time when Celergen was just introduced to the Philippines. He immediately underwent surgery and was subjected to high-tech procedure, which costs more than 2 million pesos, and a series of chemotherapies thereafter. I was just so glad that Celergen was introduced to us in 2015 because it helped my husband regain his self-confidence, have quality of life, and best of all, had quality time with our children. We were able to travel in Japan, Singapore, and Hong Kong, and was even able to go to Singapore and meet people there. I too was not spared of that dreaded disease because in 2019, just May, I was also diagnosed with colon cancer stage 2B and was immediately operated on. Thank God, with my husband's prodding, I was already on Celergen as a preventive healthcare maintenance since 2015. I believe that it was Celergen that spared me from undergoing chemotherapy, as we have read from independent clinical studies, just what was shown to you, that it causes cell apoptosis and boosts one's immune system. Frankly speaking, when Celergen was introduced to us, also, we were very skeptical about it. As lawyers, we looked and studied the product, the contents, the source where it's made from, and how it was processed, and whether there were pieces of evidence to prove its efficacy. The evidence, we were able to see and talk to persons who themselves or their loved ones benefited from taking Celergen. From what we have learned and gathered, it was not hard for us to be convinced to try it too. Having had the first-time experience of what Celergen can do to one's health, I proudly shared this to my relatives and friends, and in turn, they too shared it with their friends and relatives, who also benefited from it. It has been 3 years now, and I had not, and from my surgery, they did not see any metastases actually. So I was very glad by its result. So when I went to my oncologist, I just showed to him what I was taking, and he just told me to continue with it since it's doing my health good. And so I take also life biotics because it's the colon. So that's a probiotic also from Avita. And the good news is, since my surgery, my tumor marker, which we call the CEA, has been maintained to a normal level. I have also shared this to many friends who are now affected with cancer. And I'm very glad that all of them are benefiting from it also. You see, sharing my story to many people, and my heart is overwhelmed because of the happiness I feel every time they are inspired by my story and are also benefited from it. Celergen is the best gift that my husband gave to me, because now I am living a very, very healthy and happy life, And you know what? My husband died in 2016, leaving me children ages 8, 14, and 16. But now my daughter is graduating. She graduated in college. Now she's already 21. And my son graduated in high school. So I'm so happy to be with them. And I thank God and Celergen for giving us this wonderful, wonderful supplement when we can share to everyone that we love and care and can give hope to a lot of people. Right now, I have 3 cancer patients who are very close to my heart. And I'm so glad that they also embrace Celergen because of what they see in me. And a lot more of my friends who I gave Celergen and shared Celergen are taking it, especially Kat, my good friend also, who took it, who was spared from the very bad effects of COVID. So this supplement is really super powerful, and I really encourage you that it's a very good preventive health maintenance. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day. Thank you, Avita. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor. She's still a practicing judge, yeah. Okay, so actually we didn't know about that story except for the husband's one. So how many of you think I don't need it yet? It was very interesting. I shared this with some young people, young ladies. And then I shared them like, oh, you know, the photo, people start looking, I don't need it yet. How do you know when you need something? Like, I still look very beautiful, I still look very toy, so I don't need it yet. You cannot wait until the face like drag on the floor, then you want to take and reverse it a bit hard, you know? Or you say, oh, suddenly I have a situation already, I want to take it. I have a friend who was like Attorney Jonah, susceptible to cancer. So I recommended, why don't you do some prevention? He said, no lah. And then when he was then diagnosed with cancer, he asked me, can I take your Celergen because I want to avoid chemotherapy? I said no. He's trying to use Celergen as self-medication. No. So when do you need it? How many drivers here? How many people drive own cars here? Yeah. Do you regularly maintain your car, or you say never mind, wait until breakdown, then for the tow truck? If you say that you don't need it, then this is what you are talking about for your health. Okay? What are you made of? Can you survive the big bad wolf? House of straw, house of sticks, house of bricks? What are you made of? Because you want something helping you before you even need it. And this is what some doctors say. Okay, you want something that's of high quality, sell it extracted using co-extraction, proprietary co-extraction in Switzerland. So it's not subjected to heat, which means the thing is very, I couldn't believe that like now on Celergen, I'm on the maintenance mode. I only take 1 a day. Some days where I think I need more energy, I take 2, but otherwise it's 1 a day. And because it's not subjected to heat, so these ingredients are very potent. It maintains its efficacy. And your body is very, sorry. No, you don't need to put it in the fridge, but don't put it in the sun. Don't put it in your car. Okay. And that's the best thing you take Celergen was because with Celergen, I used to buy supplements, but I never end up taking them. My car takes them. My car very healthy because I put them in my car. Then I always forget to take them. Then by the time I remember, I opened the thing already, all subjected to heat melted already. So Celergen, when I was told only morning before you take breakfast, take 2, and that's it for the rest of the day. Okay, I agree, because I put beside my bed, wake up, take the rest of the day. I don't need to worry about taking any more supplements. Okay, your body is very smart. Always give your body a chance. You know that people all know nowadays there's a lot of naturopathy, there's a lot of all this natural healing. Even the laughter yoga and all that will tell you, right? Your body responds. If you think of happy thoughts, okay, those who are on the B program will know. If you think of happy thoughts, your cells react in a certain way. If you think of bad thoughts or you're just angry, okay, your blood vessels actually shrink, yes? And it takes you about 8 hours or 12 hours, okay? About 8 hours from a bad state to come back to a good state. So all this proven, not proven, actually scientifically, they've proven a lot of all these things. So your body is very smart. Give your body a chance. Give it the best chance. How you give your body the best chance? Like I say, if you want to carry a big rock, you have something to help you. Your body needs to take care of a lot of outside effects. Give your body the best tool you can have. And that is the nutrients that the body needs, at least. Okay, the coenzyme Q10 for the energy, the nutrients and all that for the repair, rejuvenation, and regeneration of cells. Okay, so your body, people who take Celergen find that sometimes you take already, right? Wow, one day go toilet 4 times. Okay, just now you saw Nancy go 7 times. And then I don't want to answer the share because she'll tell you what comes out of the other end. So, okay. So your body will throw out all those rubbish. So there's a detoxification process before it takes in all the good stuff and start to do the repair process for you. Okay, so it makes room for good stuff. And doctors say they don't recommend that you sell your health to the lowest bidder. Okay, a lot of times with every other thing, right, you can don't buy the cheapest. But when it comes to your health, right, wow, so expensive. I know GNC sells something cheaper. Right? Correct? Basically, your attitude is this. Health, Mercedes-Benz or bicycle. Bicycle, very cheap, don't need to maintain. Because it's spoiled or stolen, just buy another one. But car, very precious, very expensive, must do a lot of maintenance and everything, correct? So it's how you treat your own health. This is a question you ask. Are you a Mercedes or bicycle? But car and all that can do maintenance, otherwise, and then got spare part. Body, no spare part. Okay? So this is basically what it says. Don't sell it to the cheapest bidder. Secondly is, purchase the highest quality supplements you can afford to complete, there's complete and balance. Doctors will not also recommend that you take a lot of supplements because you have so many systems in your body. Like I say, you have so many different parts in your body. You choose. You can every day take one whole bowl of supplements like that. Okay, which then will not just cost you a lot of money, it will tax you on your liver and your kidney, or you want something like that. 2 tablets, two capsules a day, settle your health needs, your choice. Okay? High efficacy, high effectiveness, take as little as possible. And this is my father. So this one I show hair. This one, he himself took photo and show us. And he said, he goes to the barber. Yeah, and he told me they go to the barber so many times. Then barber said, "Oh, uncle, how come nowadays you got hair?" Okay, so he's very proud. But my father used to be on 10 over kinds of medication, painkillers for his neck, and he was a cancer survivor, stomach cancer survivor. He was on like 10 over kinds of medication. Of course, my sister will attend to his health needs, right? So after I took Celergen, I thought it worked. The first person I will go through is my sister. Because when she says, yep, I think this is something that we could give to father, because I don't want to mess up what regime she does, right? So we started giving to my father, and now I think he's only on 1 medication, which is probably optional or something, and he's taking 2 of our supplements. And even before COVID, at the age of 70-something years old, he could take public transport, take bus 170, took MRT to Kranji, take the Causeway Link bus over to Larkin, change the bus, go to Segamat to visit his brothers and sisters. He used to have this urination problem, the prostate issue. He used to have to sit in front and bribe the bus driver to stop, to let him go to the toilet. But after he started Celergen, he now very steady. He goes to Larkin, go to the toilet once. Larkin, go to Chong Pheng, stop, go to the toilet. After that, all the way home. Okay? So prostate problem, we know it will help. But what's important here is this. It's not just trying to find something that we're trying to treat him for. We're trying to make him overall having a better quality of life, mobile, independent, maintain his dignity. He's independent, we are happy because we have a lot of time to spend on. And when I say, what are you building your life with? This is like when the big bad wolf come. Okay, Pak Henry, he used to own a bank in Indonesia. He was taking Celergen for 3 years. His wife has been diabetic for 20 over years. Okay, so they started Celergen, and I think that helped with the whole structure of the body. So when they were struck with COVID, they didn't get the Mickey Mouse COVID. They got the initial COVID, the first range of COVID where everybody scared, right? It's not the Omicron and all that. So, but he got that. The doctors were very surprised that in a very short time, their symptoms were mild, and in a very short time, they were COVID negative. So when you build your house with bricks, well, when the wind comes, at least you are prepared. And then we have this, just with Celergen, when the sister had COVID, the COVID was helped, not only was the COVID given help, the sister found that her sugar level dropped, diabetic sugar level dropped. So one, Celergen helped 2 issues. Maybe look prettier, 3 issues. Maybe can walk faster, 4 issues. We don't know. And then I was gonna invite Yunting, they were here earlier to share. And this is the mother-in-law in Melbourne, had a stroke 7 years ago. Okay, so was on a wheelchair after she found out about Celergen, gave her, okay, about after how many months? 7 months, she could walk. She started walking again. And what's even more miraculous is that her doctor certified her safe to drive and she got back her driving license. So if you have friends who are having difficulty recovering from stroke, perhaps give them a try. So we have a lot of cases, big, small, COVID. We found that it's helped people with COVID. We've seen it help people with fibromyalgia. We basically have seen it help people with diseases that doctors say, sorry, no cure. Which is true. We cannot expect a doctor to have a silver bullet for everything. There's so many kinds of diseases. But what we are saying is that give your body a chance to help itself. Now, I say that this is doing prevention. Why are we doing? How come all the people I show you are all sick people? Any idea why? Because I cannot show you healthy people because they are healthy, so they have no story to tell. Now, that's the challenge of my business, right? If I help you prevent cancer and you never got cancer, there's no story to tell. But a lot of people like to have that kind of story. They want to have an instant thing. They want to say, I'm painful. Now I take something, I'm not in pain anymore. My business is in preventive care, which means I hope you don't get sick for anything. But if you don't think that that is the way that you want to live your life, then it's a different thing altogether. So that's why all the people that I show you, why you say preventive care, Celergen help, but you only show me all the sick people. Yeah, I can only show you people that has a case to show, okay? So benefits of Celergen, a lot of things we still don't know after so many years, right? 13 years on the market, we are still getting surprised by what Celergen can do to help people. Come and mix with us more, you hear a lot more stories about what Celergen can do and so much more. So if ever there's a case of someone whom you find, you say that doctors say there's nothing they can do, then ask them, are you willing to give your body a chance? Then give it a chance. So who can take Celergen? Well, practically everyone. The only people I don't recommend taking Celergen are those who are on immunosuppressant when they have an organ transplant. Because we don't want, if they are on immunosuppressant, is to press down the immunity so that they don't reject the organ that's donated to them. Then if you take Celergen, then it raises up that the immune system reject the organ is even worse. So in fact, I would say that anyone, if you think there is a better food, it's almost like asking, compared to beef, can Wagyu be taken by some special people? No, Wagyu can be taken by everyone. It's just a better food, right? Instead of taking normal, small fish, can you take the pomfret? Yeah, anybody can take pomfret because it's just a better fish. So Celergen to me is just a better food, a better way for your body to don't have to digest it, but absorb the goodness of the food. How do you take Celergen? Take it on an empty stomach because this is a very special capsule. It's enteric coated, which means it can withstand your stomach acid. Take it in 20, this was done in Japan. They found that in about 20 to 22 minutes, after you swallow the capsule, you will go to your small intestine. It goes to the small intestine because the Japanese asked us to prove this. So they actually did the test. So it goes to the small intestine, it opens up, the nutrients are being absorbed, okay, by the small intestines. Then the cells will take it and do whatever they want with it. Okay? So And for me, it is a very, very huge market. It targets a lot of things. The whole market, wellness market, is about $4.5 trillion. To me, I think that's a good enough business. But like I say, my business is one where, you know, if I help someone have a good life, I only wish them a good life, because then they say, I also don't know whether you help me or not, but that's okay. Okay, but it's a big market for $4.5 trillion. And we are in in fact, Celergen is sold worldwide, but for Asia, we are in these 9 countries and still growing. The rest of Asia, we are all targeting rest of Asia. So if you have friends in overseas and all that, here you can also consider. So I'm very glad to have Albert here, who's considering whether Cambodia is a market that he can bring this to. And I hope after today, understanding Celergen, there'll be a market. Anybody has any other market that you want to bring it to? You know, talk to your friends who invited you. Okay, so health is not an expense. It is an investment. Please remember that. It is not an expense. It is an investment. Because Singapore life expectancy is 85, but I show you this data. Unhealthy years, 10.57, gone up by 1.5 years. What it means is our lifespan has gone up a bit, but a bit of it is taken back for unhealthy years. It's like our GSC, give you some, never give you rebate, okay? So something like that. So it's increased by 7.16, but 1.53 will be bad. So expect 10 years of unhealthy years if you continue like this. And this unhealthy years, the worst thing is this. It is health that debilitates but does not kill. It means sometimes die better than live, you know, but doesn't kill you. And significant as it start at a young age and lasts a long time. So if you have someone who has diabetes at the age of 40 or 35, he's got 40 to 45 years or 50 years to suffer this diabetes. Doesn't kill him, just suffer. Okay, so think about that. If you have young adult children and all that, you may want to consider giving them this lesson. So aging is a game of speed. Slow it down. Don't need to rush. Don't be kiasu. Don't rush to the end so quickly. Bamban lai, okay? Because you either go through premature, normal, or anti-aging.
What will your last 10 years look like? Will you be quick enough for a game of tag with your grandchild? Strong enough to embrace every moment? Will you grow old with vitality? Or get old with disease? It's time to decide.
So that's the end of my 4-hour lecture. I cut it already. So thank me. Any questions from anyone? Yes.
When she took Celergen in the morning without breakfast first, empty stomach, then her sugar level actually gone down. But she tried once, she took at night before her sleep. Then second day morning, her blood sugar rise up. Is that, why is it this way?
We recommend that you take it in the morning because then it helps your blood sugar, because the whole day you are eating. So the help should go in. Then when you eat the whole day, it controls the blood sugar level. But when you take it at night, which means later on then you sleep, right? You don't eat anymore, right? But then the whole day after that you start eating, right? Your blood sugar level actually is not being helped by the Celergen.
Oh, she says she took at night, right? Then early morning, she found the level go up. She haven't taken any breakfast yet, but
First of all, when your blood sugar level goes down, like when you are hungry and all that, right? Your body will strike a response. Your body will start to produce more. That's why you feel giddy, you feel tremors and shaky, and you're trying to find something to eat. But when you are sleeping, you can't do any of this. And it's a bit dangerous because if you need a medication and you go into hypo, what we call hypoglycemia, you may actually just faint or black out in your sleep. So your body have to have an instant response to push sugar. So while you are sleeping, your body is working very hard in order to create your sugar level to be high, because you don't want you to go into a coma. That's the body's not natural response. So that's why in the morning your sugar level has to be high, otherwise you will have gone into a coma in your sleep. So it's better to take it in the morning, because if any side effects or anything happens, at least you know I'm going to black out. My sugar level is too low. You can eat. But when you're asleep, you can't do anything. So that's why you find that if she takes it in the night, the next morning the sugar level will be a bit high, because your body has to prevent you from your sugar level from dropping too low.
Okay. So because it has an effect of lowering your glycemic index. So when it lowers the glycemic index in the day and you're taking it, so there's something that is preventing. But then at night when you are not eating anymore, and the thing is lowering your glycemic, your body is now craving for something, and the sugar level must go up. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, another question is, after taking Celergen, right, then the toilet, they have difficulty going toilets with normal intake of water and food. So how come?
Okay, I don't know. There are different people who, when they start Celergen, I always tell them to take a lot more water than usual, and then take more roughage, vegetables and all that. Take more than usual. And the other thing is, how long has they been taking?
I think about a week.
About a week, right? That's not
a week.
even representative, because Celergen goes in. Remember, I told you your body actually takes out all those things and then absorb the good stuff. Now, it could be a case of when Celergen goes in, your body suddenly found this newfound way of absorbing nutrients. So your body now starts to hold all the nutrients and don't want to release anything. So I don't know why the person, then maybe the person does the person exercise?
No.
What kind of lifestyle does the person live?
Working lifestyle.
Yeah, so expect a magic pill going there, and so maybe you just need to have more water. But sedentary lifestyle, giving yourself all these things probably will not really give you that real help the body needs. So you may take a longer time. Yeah, so 1 week does not represent what this thing is going to be doing to you. You need a longer time for that. Okay?
Then one more question.
Yes, go ahead.
我讲华语可以吗？
可以，我翻译。
哦，李焕玲啊，好，我吃了3天啦，然后因为那时候他们讲说，叫我吃2粒，所以我一开始就吃了2粒，所以我吃了3天。那我发现到这3天我的那个眼皮啊，一直跳得很厉害嘞，但我自己都觉得，起初我以为是可能有些什么事情要发生呢，开始有点怕。第1天的时候我没有去想到是吃这个东西。
The left eye, right eye, good luck, bad luck thing like Chinese.
Right. 就以为啦，然后因为通常这种是一下子而已嘛，但是就连续隔天还是在跳，然后就是然后到第4天，就是其实是今天我就吃1粒而已，好像感觉就没有跳这么厉害，所以我想要问一下，就是说我们在吃的时候是不是要注意一下那个
Very good question. Yes. Okay, so what she's saying is that she took 2 a day, 3 days, her eyelid starts jumping. I don't know whether it's a case of if you hadn't started this, it didn't stimulate that. Maybe one day you have the drooping eyelid thing. I'm not sure whether that's going to happen. But okay, maybe she feels aggressive. That's too aggressive. Then she switch back to 1, and then it doesn't jump so much. Yes, when we tell people recommend that they take 2, sometimes for people who are too old, a bit older, I recommend that they take 1, they start 1. Or some people who have a lot of issues, I tell them take 1 for about a week and see whether they have a reaction or not. Then they can go up to 2. The 2 is to kickstart the whole process, okay, to speed up the absorption and the adaptation to Celergen. But there are some people who just can't take it. There are people who are, the Chinese have a word called 虚不进, 虚不受补, which means the person is already weak. Okay, they cannot take all this because the body can't react to it. So adjust it. I have a case, Ivy's friend in Hong Kong, the father took already, the face swollen because he was not in very good health. So what we did was we adjusted it for him. Okay, now we take 1 every 2 days until he starts to adapt to it, start to be acclimatized. Then we start to 1 in 2 days. And after that, now he's taking 1 a day. So adjust it yourself. Yeah. Again, this is the food that you take. Some people take chili, no issue. Some people take chili already, all the pimples break out. Right? So adjust it according to your. So if you're taking 1 and you feel that's okay, then go ahead with 1. Yeah? Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, for cancer patients, do they take the same dosage as us, or it has to be?
Yes.
Yeah.
And take the same dosage, but sometimes I think they should take 2 because if they are going through all the chemo and all that, okay, the dosage again ask them to adjust because sometimes the chemo is taking a toll on the body cannot take some more. Then sometimes just tell them take 1, okay, but it's our responsibility to learn and then be able to help our friends when we recommend Celergen to them. Okay, so I will stop here and hand you back. Otherwise, I'll be at 3 a.m. And thank you very much. I'll hand you back to our host.
Thank you, Speaker Chong Pheng. Yeah, and gave a very wonderful insight on how Celergen can work on your cells and prevent or give you some anti-aging, right? So for people who are here and you have not started Celergen and you wanted to start on Celergen, we have a few promotions here. Those on Zoom also. Okay, so we have promotions here. You can get 6 boxes of Celergen at 1980 and you save $800. And alternatively, if you also want to get your family started, your parents, your spouse, you can get 25 boxes at 8,000 and you save over $3,000 dollars. So get started now so that tomorrow you can buy now so that tomorrow you can start with Celergen. Right. So, well, it was a very good insight and it's now almost 10 o'clock. So right now we would like to say good night to everyone. Have a good sleep. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Good night.